So,
Okay.
Rajat, you were in the discussion last Thursday with Shiban, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So his ask is uh, end of September for end of October for SIS testing completion is not reasonable. We need to justify why we need to take that long. And again, if there are any risks, we need to call it out clearly for the duration, including the phase 1, phase 2 approach. We are looking at 2 weeks cutover window for each environment in phase 2. Is that reasonable or are we overconfident? That basically means we are looking at 2 months or maximum 3 months freeze. Will Sabrina be confident to cover all the necessary testing during that cutover window? We need to be clear on that. And also the possibility to bring down the go live date to 2026. Slipping to 2027 has a licensing implication for the dual licensing. So this is something we need to see how we can address this. So that's the context. Sabrina, for since you didn't join that session, this is what we discussed. We need that alignment between you and Rajat and see what is a realistic date. And he's saying program is expecting something, some date in 2026 itself for Polisai go live, not slipping to 2027. So how we can achieve that? What are the ways we can work to bring the dates and achieve it, provided we have the necessary environment. One is using CA5 for from the front-end apps as much as possible, and also we can put forward ASM BAU is if it is something that can work for your testing in this environment. Okay, so I'll leave it to you guys to start how we can proceed. Anything, Kadir, since you have regular sessions with Shibin, any other points which you want to put it forward so that
Yeah. Look, the program needs to confirm the dates today by COV today. So I've been asked to provide all of the dates and submissions and packs, decks, etc. by 5 o'clock today. So whatever we can do to achieve this, it'll be a great advantage. I think whatever we do here today, we just need to retranslate that back into the Jira board. And so Jackie's all over this. So she requested the current dashboard yesterday. And the dashboard that I provided yesterday was the cutover on the 26th of February. So, but I did indicate that we're reviewing again this morning. Okay. How do we start this off?
I think if you ask me, might take with so many uncertainty, and if we need an answer by close of business today.
Rajat, what we can do is first let's talk about the environments and see what are the risks we have.
Yeah.
Let's say
That's what I thought today's meeting was specifically focused to move what we discussed on Thursday, where we missed Sabrina to join us in the room. I was thinking that should be our first task, I would say, for today.
Sure. Let's get in a systematic way, one by one. Let's get the environments, and then we see what is the comfort level from both app as well as testing, using CA5 as well as ASM for phase 1 testing. Let's assume that we go two-phase approach. Phase 1 testing both in ASM UIT as well as the SIT. let's say we have these two environments of the front-end apps, CA5 till some point of time, and ASM BAU, where maybe we can benefit heavily on the system testing, how we can handle that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Sabrina, the main thing we discussed along with David on the other day was that we really need to have a strategy in place to categorize the front end application in a sort of a manner that we know that these are the touch points which are a must for us, considering that with this particular move of Policy application to cloud, we are not making any major sort of technical changes on our application. So what David's ask was that if we can categorize the front end application in such a way which gives us the confidence from testing. They are saying we need to have a way forward with a risk-based approach, and we categorize the application that we think are a must to test the Policy application from whatever scenarios or use cases you have for testing. Doing everything in CI environment is not possible at all. That's a clear understanding from them as well. And that's where they are asking us to come up with a list of application which will give us confidence that at least the Policy application is working and we have the integration touch points working as well. That's their first task. The other thing we discussed was to bring in efficiency and make sure that the technical issues around integration, where the plumbing may not work, or those sort of things are being identified during the sys testing. If we can have your team working along with TCS and AWS to start getting involved during the UIT phase itself, so that the environment readiness can be checked at that particular point itself. Yeah, does that make sense? Or
yeah, I think last Thursday when I was
I think Shivan also had an offline discussion with you.
Yeah, he did, and then he's trying to convince me.
Yeah.
But then I think like at the end of the day, I think like he understands that whatever approach or strategy that we propose, it will still carry certain risks, because like we all know that there are limitations. Okay, there are challenges. So I already highlight a few of those in my email, but then like obviously we can still try the approach, whatever we know today, and get the support in order to resolve the problem or resolve the challenges that we used to have. It might be okay now, we don't know, right? So that's why I agree with him that, okay, let's do it in phase one with knowing all these challenges, saying that we do know the risk, but we still want to try to mitigate the risk by getting the right people or right team to support and allow the contingency, and still have some very, very solid limitation that we said there's no other option. We need to defer those testing in managed environment. So we all understand that, but now the question is more around what other things can be tested in CI or phase one, pre-cutover, and what are the one that there's no other option. We need to leave it to phase two, but phase two, but still phase two. We know that for SIT entering the managed environment for a particular release, we all know that we have a limitation of 2 weeks because other dependency, right? Other project, and we need to consider testing by the other tribes, right? So we all know this limitation, but how could we still have a mitigation strategy in the managed environment related to phase 2. So that means keeping the 2 weeks, if that is the only duration, or obviously we can still try to negotiate a little bit longer for SIT, but can we do something in phase 2 UIT, getting a little bit longer duration in the UIT, because I think a few weeks ago we did discuss that assembly, ASMBU might be possible to actually reserve for a longer time. But then we don't want to leave everything to this option, obviously. We still try to, test earlier using the CR. Okay, so I think we all understand and we all agree that, but then I think we need some information. The information is related to what are the applications actually available in CI.
Yeah, I think what Sabrina, their call is that we define the application. They have clearly called out that around things like ACMS or the Domino's app, we shouldn't be bringing in on our list because they are an unknown that doing in CI would not be feasible. But apart from that, they want us to bring the list, and then we socialize that list with the tribes, bring them on board and say whether they can make them available for us in CI. That's their call out.
I think it should be the other way around. So I can have my wish list, but my wish list, whether it's realistic. Because
but I think we need a starting point, Sabrina, because everyone has been so busy that they are asking us to have a starting point. Maybe that's your wish list, and then we put that on the table with the tribes.
Yeah, but then I think if you ask me my wish list, claims is
They are saying wish list
claims
should
is
be
one of the critical one. Everyone knows that claims is so important.
Yeah, that's why I called out except
one that we
claims.
cannot do.
Yeah, except
So
claims.
again, if you're talking about these wish lists, what is the justification to go with the exhaustive testing,
Yeah.
or is there a way we can reproduce testing without that?
So I think it's the other way around. I would say instead of the wish list,
Yeah.
can we get integration team might be the best team to ask this question. Which application actually already set up in CI? We don't care about which CI. They might set up in CI.
I can ask, but Sabrina, I had another suggestion. Can we, because our main concern is that we should at least test the ones where we have a good preparedness from an automation testing perspective, or at least we know the know-how. Can we pick those up? And with them,
I can give you the list that
yeah,
we
yeah.
have.
So what I'm saying,
Front end,
yep.
but again, bear in mind that we are only talking about front end, not necessarily end to end. So as you already point out, ACMS is part of claims, but we do have the automation for the front end surface, right?
Yep.
Surface is there, and even some of the next gens are there, but you cannot do end to end because missing ACMS. So we again.
That's where I'm saying, Sabrina, you have the better know-how on the touch point. What I was saying, we look at 2 or 3 aspects, like where we already have automation, where we think we can do the testing, whether it's manual or not, and then make sure that we have picked a combination of the integration point, like data power, ACE, MQ, that sort of a thing we have touch base within our wish list. That's what I'm thinking of doing. And in parallel, I can go to Mint and ask the question that from an integration perspective, do you know which particular front end application are already sort of plumbed or integrated currently with CI? I can ask that particular thing, and we combine them both and give the tribes that particular wish list for us.
Yes. Yeah, I can give you a list that because we are, I think you're aware that we are going through the test scripts with the tribe.
Yes.
So some of them, they confirm, yes, they do have the script, but they never run in the CI. So that, again,
I completely agree. That's what our counter argument with them would be, that we have the automation script. Why not we can get that particular application ready in CI? Is there a restriction or limitation of not using CI? I think it would be a good exercise to even get that sort of a clarification from the tribes.
Yeah, so we haven't gone through all the applications, but we already have a few. Yeah. So we can give you the list that these are the ones that they already confirmed they have automation, but then majority of them actually tell us that they never run in CI, and some of them, they said they didn't run in assembly as well. So for those kind of things, that means we can still push it back, push forward to get the CI environment set up. But there will be some work in order to actually update the script, in order to make sure the script is working in the CI environment. Yeah, so that is one, like even in assembly, but that is assembly, again, is phase 2. But I did request a shipment 2 things in order to get us a higher chance of success doing CI testing. First, I request CI test instead of CI dev. Because CI, they got dev test and UAT. And we all know that majority of the testing will be done in CI test. Very limited in dev or even UAT, they don't even set up sometimes. But that's why what I request is to do the UIT and SIT using the CI
test stream.
Yeah, I would like 2 instances of CI tests, one for UIT, one for SIS. That will give us a higher chance of success, because that is a more frequently used, comparatively, I would say, comparatively frequently used environment. That will give us a higher chance of success. That is the first one. Second one is there are so many CI test environments set up, right, for different project testing. Which one actually got majority of the setup? I don't know how long it takes for application to stand up in a new CI environment, even though the CI is not new, but a particular application might not be, set up or configured, right? So that's why, like, that will need support from main, which environment actually got, sorry, not main, actually should be Brana. So get her to, advise which environment actually got majority of the setup for application, like, or the other way you can say, majority of applications are in the environment. Put it that way. So like it could be 4, 5, whatever number. So if in that case we pick the one that is got more applications set up and used by other projects in the past, then again we will have a better chance to deploy the latest changes if it is not up to date, and configure whatever is not yet available, not yet done, then that will again give us a higher chance of success to do testing in that particular environment.
So I think the other call out that I'll make, Sabrina, what was the point was that if we start putting these particular requests well upfront, that will give them an opportunity to have the provisioning done, and even for us to start the testing and doing the things early. So it was like a parallel stream that we want to run around the environment readiness. So as soon as we can get the list and start socializing with them, and even ask them to do the analysis to do how much overlap they already have in CI, that particular thing would really work the best in our favor.
So we can do that, but I think for CI, because I think the benefit is we own it, no one can touch it. So that's why we we have full control
Yes.
of, the version and what we need, but we just need to make sure that the retrofit is done for every release, including
yes.
out of cycle release.
Yep.
Because like a lot of the time that what I observe is in the past, a lot of the out of cycle release they forgot to do the retrofit. That's why when we run into issues, we say, oh, some changes are missing because they didn't do the retrofit. So we like, if we own this environment, then we need to make sure that the retrofit is done, whenever happen. Yeah. So just like how they do it for.
Correct. And these are some valid points, Sabrina, and probably Balaji and Mark. Like if you want to start an epic on the integration environment readiness, and then we start creating tickets under it with these particular items, like having two set of stream in CI test, one for UIT and one for Policy SIT, and then making sure that an ongoing retrofit would be required on those two streams of CI tests.
Yeah.
Instead of doing minutes, I think we can start creating that particular thing, and it would be an ongoing for a duration, let's say starting from April till September.
So
that will
when you
be
say
good.
two set of streams, what exactly that would achieve?
So
Do we have two data sets or?
No, it will be separate. So just like assembly assist in managed environment. We need two environments.
Correct. Maybe let me explain, Balaji. What would happen is that if we want Sabrina to start working early, right, to do the preparation for SIT, when the CI test UIT instances are being used for the front end for doing the data setup and testing, any sort of issues identify, we can start replicating them in the other stream that we have available. That way, we would have a parallel environment going in with the integrated environments that we can utilize.
Okay, so basically, our ASM environment would point to CI test one or something, and
Correct.
would point
correct.
to something else.
Exactly, yes.
Correct.
So both of them would be operational for the entire duration.
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
And can I just double check? You called it UIT and SIS. Was that the two instances, Sabrina? Did I
No, that is
hear
the
that?
two test phase. UIT and SIT.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, maybe Rajat, let's have the connect with Min also and point this approach, and we don't know who else need to give a concurrence, whether we need to get into discussion again with Craig for this.
No, I think Balaji, what would be the sequence of event while Sabrina is creating that list from her end based on whatever level of automation and testing capabilities they have. I'll be asking Min or Sabrina, what other name you gave for understanding the CI?
Brianna is
Brianna.
Brianna is our CI person.
Okay, I haven't. Is she in Min's team or?
No,
Asa.
she's I'm not sure.
Because I thought Asa is doing the.
Sai is doing what?
I knew that Asa is leading the CI or managing the. Yeah. That's what Min told me last time.
Okay,
And
then
he.
talk to Sai then. Yeah, because like anyway, if he needs support from Brianna, he will get it, by himself, right? We don't need to.
Okay, can you tell me the full name? Rana.
It's very, very long. I can't.
Yeah. Okay, maybe you ping me.
I'll ping you offline.
Yeah. So the other thing would be Balaji, that I'll be getting in touch with them and trying to understand what's the list of CI application that are already available for us. Yeah, and that way we see whether there is a overlap or there is more work to be done by the tribes, and then I'll put that forward to David and the tribe leads, and they come up that how they can fill those gaps up. That would be the approach.
Yeah, and also in parallel, we need to, as I mentioned, that negotiate for a longer period for assembly, phase two assembly, UIT,
I
because
think what
yeah,
I am hearing, Sabrina, that they are in the final leg of negotiating reserving ASMBAU for us. When I say us, overall ECM program.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you believe that it might be available soon?
Yes, yeah. They are quite confident, Shibin and Bobby, that that would be done. Because the reason even I am confident is that ASM BAU stream is not being utilized much after the CI, except few application. I think most of them are using things in CI or doing it in system and integration environment directly.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, so that's the way forward, Balaji. Maybe we can now move to the next step.
Okay, so with this, what are all the risks we try to
Luhana.
or anything we decide to absorb with this approach? Let's say both these environments would be using CI, and we are talking about the apps now, the front-end apps. How many apps we are expecting? What are their participation level? Is it still that 8 apps, Rajat, you have mentioned, or do we see it's gonna extend beyond that?
Yeah, I think Sabrina needs to spend some time before she can answer that question.
No,
Potentially, it would
bear
be
in
more.
mind, yeah, it could be more, but then bear in mind that some of those are not the front end application. Yeah, like for example, CPS. CPS is not front end, but you just need it for pricing. Harmony, again, is not a front end in the sense that you cannot initiate a test from there, but you do need it in order to do the basic put and bind. So these two are the one that we don't have a direct access to the application, but then we do need these two for any application doing put and bind. Alive, evolution, SAFTU, they all need these two in order to work. So there might application like this that they don't have direct access, but then they do need to be available in the back support.
Yeah, they are sort of reference app. You can say without they being in place, we cannot get any accuracy or test progression.
Okay. So, is that something let's say if you want to stop some of those, like those that are downstream kind of scenarios, we don't need to know whether those integrations is all of them or downstream or upstream, how it is defined in these apps perspective, so we can see when we are triggering from policy, what is the expectation from a downstream perspective.
Yeah, so Balaji, just to give you a bit of an insight, from a if you are talking about integration application, the outbound flow from Policy is much more smaller because we recently did all these bits around EIT when I am converting them. So there are only 5 or 6 different calls from where Policy does the call, or if you want to call them as downstream. But when it comes to the things which are incoming into Policy, they are massive. So there are 56 different calls into Policy, and that I'm talking about data power and MQ. And sorry, the 56 are only data power. MQ ones are even there, but I don't have a definite count around it. But for data power, there are 56 incoming calls. So that's where the majority of work around plumbing is, that's something we'll be testing.
Yeah, I think like per my memory, the main one, when you say downstream, the main one are the data warehouse or the SAP or things. These are the main downstream. But from Polysite perspective, we still need the two that I just mentioned. Polysite itself, it still needs CPS, still need Harmony.
Yes.
I would say payment gateway. That will be another one that you would like to be available. So these three will give us not just for the integration, but also for Polysite itself to be working, like the batch or online. So I think these three are must have. Without that, I think there are a lot of limitation even for online and batch, not just the integrated apps. So these three will be the main one, and the other downstream, as Raja already mentioned, a lot of them are not, are not real time. I would say many of them are not real time. The so-called downstream one, and those are normally the one mainly from batch. I would say. For example, print is one, which is mainly the batch print, and also the email. Email is not really for the batch, it is for both online and batch from Polysite perspective. But at the same time, the front end will also need that. But bear in mind from a Polysite integration testing perspective, I don't really care the email for the integrated apps or the print from the integrated apps. Instead, I will be more concerned about the email that we send from Polysite and the print we send from Polysite. So these two might be you call downstream, email and print, which if we cannot have it, then we will do separate testing, because I think ever since in the past, we don't necessarily do the end-to-end testing with this tool if it is not available. We will need to do a separate test. But again, it will make use of the same data. That's why ideally, if we have both, I mean these two are available, then we don't need to repeat the same test. Like if we don't have it, that means we need to run exactly the same test, combine, renew, or whatever, in order to generate those documents again and send it to the email that enter, and then we need to verify the email. So it will be duplicate or triple or multiple times of testing if those are not available. So that's why like we have something that so-called must have. If you don't have it, then you can't even do any testing. And then these are the ones that should have, I would say. If you have it, then it will reduce the effort of testing, then we don't need to repeat the same test again. So, but if we don't have it, then it's not a problem. It won't impact our original script for testing, but we will need to do it again. So that kind of thing, we can categorize the integration in these few groups. Then we can get the first group set up, and then if possible get the second group, and then the last group, obviously that will be the low priority. Something like that.
Okay, so Rajat, if you can document this, we will clearly get that alignment. Again, we need to see, is there any other concerns like what David mentions to address? We need to get into that. So we can have a session maybe with Min and anybody else. Do we need to get us also into the call?
That would be the next step. I'll be working on Balaji once I have the information.
Okay. So again, now with this ask from both you and Sabrina, what would be the duration for both ASM and SIS testing? Right now, it stands at like 6 weeks or 8 weeks of testing in both these environments, can it overlap to some extent? And instead
You're
of
talking about phase 1 or phase 2?
phase one.
Phase 1.
Mhm.
Yeah, it can be overlapped. That's why we need two CI test instance so that we don't have a conflict.
Okay, we won't have a conflict, but what is the comfort level that if we are doing overlapping, are we limiting, like, let's say we are first doing the online testing in ASM and then go to online testing in SIS before and parallelly start the batch testing in ASM while you are doing online testing in SIS. What kind of overlapping will it have? Right now, the plan says is something until we finish all the ASM testing, it won't, and sign off is provided, we won't move to SIS.
That will be the ideal case, but I don't think that will be the realistic case.
Yeah.
It never worked in any project. Like, because they will have issue, and if they have issue that are open, then we don't want to continue to wait. If we have, a certain groups of testable items that are already passed in UIT, then we will say, okay, let's start SIT on those components. But we don't want to start too early or for a very small group of components, because I think the same thing. Whatever things that got passed, if it is just a small, very small portion, then if we start SIT on those, then we end up still need to repeat the whole lot. The reason is because we are not doing unit testing. We are doing integration as well as end-to-end.
Yes.
So if you got a components working, but then down the line, something is not working from an end-to-end perspective, what that means, we still need to repeat the same test. It just like, it is okay to do overlap, but then you also bear in mind that will be overhead in terms of repeat the same test over and over and multiple times. Yeah, so that will be the consequence if we start overlapping. Just keep that in mind. It's not a problem.
Yeah, it makes sense how realistic this overlap need to be. We don't want to be too optimistic and try to squeeze everything, and then we end up extending with a lot of repetitive testing. That's why we need to be careful of. But since we discussed this, we need to see what is that realistic overlap we are talking about based on your experience. For policy, we need to know that information. I can't comment on, let's say, while unit integration testing is 3 weeks down the line, we can start SIT. That's not my call. You need to say which modules need to happen first in UIT before you can.
Yeah, I would suggest, the approach like, okay, online is always, we can always lock it down sooner. And again, online doesn't have a lot of dependency, by itself, because I think like many options, they are quite independent. So I think, and also it got a lot of automation. So that's why lock down the online. If online works, let's say over 90% pass, then I think we can kickstart the SIT online. That will be the first one. The second one, I won't, because last time in MFM, I think the second component is batch. Actually, I don't think this is a good idea, because as we just already mentioned, a lot of the policy data actually come from the front end. Without the front end, without the integration, where you get the data? If we are creating data through online, which is not a true scenario. So we did that in MFM because we have no choice, because integration was not working until very, very, very late. So we have no option. We need to create the data from policy online, which is not the true scenario. We might not create the correct data because the data is supposed to be validated from the front end. When it passed to us, is something that a policy can process. But when we create directly, we might enter something which is not even a valid value. So it happens and it causes a lot of issue. So that's why ideally I would suggest to start with the the integration and the batch stream. The batch stream align with the integration. What that means is, I think Raja understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So for example, SAP2. So if we got SAP2 integration, okay, we don't need all the integration to work together. If you got SAP2 integration, then we start with SAP2 and the corresponding batch stream. So for SAP2, you do have a set of renew batch, which is not the same as evolution and not the same as alive. So it got its own set of renew batch. And then what other batch stream are associated with SAP2 products? So I know some of them are common. So the common one actually are the one that we don't want to test at the beginning, because the common one, most likely we would like to do it when all other integrations are working. We don't want to do it separately. So that's why I'm not too worried about the common one, but I'm more worried about the immediate one, like the renewal and payment and things like that. So if we can get that kind of sequence, like SAP2 together with SAP2 related job stream, and then alive, and then evolution. So if we are able to, put these in a sequence, in the order, then our testing can be started once this particular job stream is working in UIT. Does it make sense, Roger? You got any comment?
Yeah.
So start with online as a whole, and then integration application together with the related job stream from batch. Yeah.
So that means, again, this is where if we document this clearly, we can have the JIRA tasks also based on that timelines and see where it stands. Since if you're talking about integrated apps for the batch streams and all, only focusing those.
So I think Balaji, the call out from Sabrina is rather than waiting for the whole UIT to finish, you can start testing whatever UIT team has done, and that's the only way you'll be able to execute. But before we go there, I think we need to have that meeting with the integration team to make sure that both the CI test streams would be available together, so or maybe with a difference of 2 to 3 weeks max. So this particular approach will then work. So we can drill into that and create Jira tickets when needed. Yeah.
No, the thing is, let's say if we are asking, let's say an example, Harmony to start with as an integrated app, and then followed by CPS or some other apps. We can use
So I think the one call out is Harmony and CPS and online payments. These are anyways needed.
Okay. So I'm not aware of all those dependencies, so I may not be the right person to advise. I'm just giving an example, like some apps need to participate in so and so period, followed by other apps and all.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that information also we might require when we present our 2 CA environment strategy to Min and to get that commitment. So with that,
we can give the, like, when we share the wish list, we might need, Sabrina, your help to prioritize the sequence of availability.
Yep.
So this is the lot 1 application, lot 2, lot 3 maybe, or whatever logical lots we can create.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and that way we can see. Right now we are looking at October end to complete the SIT. How soon it can be? Will it be sometime in August or in September? if we can complete all these activities before we start on the parallel run, or can we do the parallel run in while system testing is going on also? Is that a possibility? And what it would cover, because our main aim is some of those challenges which can't be covered in SIT, UIT and SIT, we can leverage on parallel run. In that case, can this be started earlier while SIT is going on? There might be questions that come in, how we can have the prod environment ready while SIT is still going on, because this is a new environment. We should be able to justify there's no other integrations available to proceed with. Only thing is manage environments that are required for parallel run, because you might expect some of these apps to be available to test when we are running the parallel run, right?
Yep.
So Raja, like one question for the parallel run. So you're using Control M to do it, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So I'm just thinking, like last time, how could you actually get the input file? Because you know that for some jobs they need input files. So how could you get those available?
Yeah.
During parallel run?
So Sabrina, what we did was that we identified a schedule that we want to run. Okay. And when we decided that to run, we did the data sync up accordingly. Like we said that, okay, we are going to run the Friday renewal. So what we did is, after the end of the production batch, that particular night, we took a backup.
Okay.
Yeah, along with the input files that are there.
Okay.
Plus, and plus, we took the after the things have been executed, we even took the backup of the output files as well. And we had, so yeah, and then we compared. So what we did, like if we were running, let's say for the last Friday, which was 13th of March, we took everything from that 13th of March, including the data input and output, and ran it this Friday. And then we had a comparative point to make sure that the reports are looking are matching, the outputs are matching, the records in the database are matching.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, your parallel one will be picking a particular day, right?
Yes.
And also a particular period, so that you don't have the the what do you call that, the user input, because if you picked up the period that you still have online available,
That's right.
that will cause the problem for the output, which
Correct.
which got
Correct.
discrepancy.
So
So
we
you pick the
relied
period.
on everything that has already been done, and we had the power to pick and choose from it.
Okay. Basically, it's the normal PolarSci batch window, right?
Yes.
You pick the period from there, and then you copy everything, including the input file and whatever, and then you run the batch just like how it is run in production, and then compare the result. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So what I would call parallel run, Sabrina, would be a regression test of PolarSci. Yeah, because we are standalone testing PolarSci to make sure that the way record is supposed to be in the database, there has been no corruption. The flow that is running is as expected. The output reports that are creating are as expected. So we are doing more of a regression testing. That's why I'm saying parallel run is a good tool to do whatever we do within PolarSci. But if we are doing anything outside PolarSci, that's where we should be relying on the system testing phase.
Yeah, exactly. Because you won't get the integration input.
Correct. Yeah. We already have got the input and we are just consuming them.
Yeah, but then bear in mind that there are certain things that you need to receive, as well as you need to generate
Correct.
the output back to them, and then you also need to proceed, the second round of input, but
Correct.
during the batch run that you have, then you don't have that back and forth input. You only have one-time input and one-time output. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, that's fine. So yep, I think like in terms of when it will be I mean available or confidence for the parallel run to start, again it depends on the selected day for the regression. If that selected day contains renew batch and I don't know what other batch stream that it will be cover, then we need to make sure that those particular job stream, if they are in the scope of UIT and SIT, then they should be tested successfully before the parallel run start. I think that will be the prerequisite for parallel run.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, they don't need integration. I mean, if we got open defects for the integration, right, that it won't block the parallel run because it doesn't need the integration to work. So keep that in mind. So it depends on the batch run, but not the integration. So that's why parallel run can start with open defects in the integration by itself, but it shouldn't start if there are open defects in the particular job stream that is required for the parallel run. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So this is something again, Rajat, need your help to identify those and when it would be the logical time during the testing we can initiate on the parallel run, so we can plan accordingly for that. And when it comes to user acceptance testing in the pre-prod, what are the challenges do we have at this point of time? By that time, are we expecting everything is completed in the SIT perspective before we get into the UAT?
I think we need to engage the business early because I think it is okay. PoliSci is used by all the business division.
Yep.
So I think we got a really big list of UAT stakeholders, and then each of them they might not be available in certain period. They have their own timeline for their operation. So some of them they might be busy during the month end. Some of them might be busy in the first week, whatever reason that it depends on what is needed.
Prioritize, yeah.
Exactly. So we need to engage them early and plan it out.
Yeah, so Balaji, if I'm not wrong, there would be a UAT test lead that would be onboarded by project for this particular reason, along with maybe a UAT coordinator. Because
Who would it be? I will leave it to Kadir to advise on that.
yeah, because this is going to be a massive exercise. We need to probably onboard close to 200 different users.
Do we require that much of a testing from a user's perspective?
Yes, because see, the thing is, we need to have a proper change management proposal or a deck in place, and we make sure that UAT is being done extensively. Just to give you a bit of a context, the business on their own side is making a lot of automation and bot related changes which even we as an Aztec are not aware of, and when they break they start engaging us. So those are the things where we would need to send them the change management comms and even ask them to make sure that they are testing their application, plus the generic UAT testing would need to be taken in place. From an PoliSci endpoint perspective, we would need to change the PCOM configuration, roll it out in 3 different interfaces. We have something called storefront, you have workbench, and then your AVC and AMC desktops. So we need to make sure that user are onboarded and they test these particular things. And even there themselves, they use Excel based automation and macros, which should be working as expected. So there are lot of things what we don't want, that on day one when we do the cutover, they say I cannot connect to the Policy and application at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Kadir, this is clearly something we didn't cater in our timelines. When we say UAT testing activities, we keep it a lighter one. I'm assuming it might be around 1 month of effort or 1.5 month of effort.
Yeah, it would be 1.5 month of effort from a execution perspective, Balaji, but we would need to do a lot of preparation. The change comms should be is a prereq, should be prepared before it. You need to send them, you need to engage the packaging team to get that particular things done, and that's where I'll also be supporting you, because I've done most of those exercises. But you definitely need a UAT coordinator for a project of this scale.
Okay, I will leave it to Kadir on this one.
Balaji, I'm sort of familiar with that process.
Perfect.
I've dealt with that in ABCC.
Yeah.
So this is something we need to get started, and we need to find out when is the right time to start this activity. And is there a possibility when the business users does their UAT activities, we can get the necessary change management approval, even though there are some testings ongoing in the SIT phases or parallel run activities are ongoing. Okay. And
Balaji, you can't expose the application which is untested, else you will get so many unnecessary noise that
that's
you
what I'm
go
saying.
crazy. Yeah,
So if we go
crazy.
a sequential approach, that means ideally the UAT testing would happen after the SIT testing. Everything is completed.
Correct. It would be when we are like have completed our first or second parallel run iteration. I won't be comfortable to give the UAT testing team the application until we have reached that particular state.
Okay, so that means
That's the reason we are bringing the parallel run early in the game now.
okay, so we must bring in parallel run early, and let's say if we should be able to complete that sometime in August or September, can the UAT testing can commence as early as October and wrap it up by end of October? We need to see that one, because right now, if you look at our timelines, UAT starts after the SIT, not after the parallel run. It is running in parallel to the parallel run. So now we are taking some risk-based approach, moving certain activities to be completed in parallel run. That means your UAT business users testing should happen after the parallel run. That's the expectation we are putting in, because we have some risk items that need to be tested in the parallel run.
I think again, I think we can also arrange the UAT, because again, the UAT will be running like 1.5 months, right? And each business division will have their own preferred period to do their testing. And bear in mind that they don't need everything. Each division only need a certain thing to work. So again, we can plan it out in a way that for some of the the division, they might only interested in I'll make it up, like for example, integration of Evolution. As long as integration of Evolution is working, and then the renew batch for the Evolution products are working, then they're good. They don't need the finance. They don't need the what else they need? They don't need the report, because I know that some business, they will check the report. So they don't need everything to work. In the parallel run, they might verify something else, which is not, in the interest of this particular business division of Evolution. Then what that means is they can start after SIT, because we will be testing the Evolution integration. So we can still plan out things in the same manner, just like how we planned out for the overlap of UIT and SIT. Similarly, we can do
Good,
it for
but
UIT.
my only concern is how the change management process works. Can we go in batches of these activities? Are we going to get a single change management process to cover for everything within policy? Or
When you
before
say
we can-
change management, only the deployment that matters, right?
Yes.
So deployment is like we do it all the time. We don't need to deploy everything together. We always got chunks of things to deploy every time. Obviously, you don't want to deploy multiple times in a day. You might have, once, obviously, ideally once per week or twice per week, or even, I don't know, did we do daily per day? Daily deployment? Raja, you remember? I don't think so, right?
No,
That process might
no,
be.
So maybe twice.
I think we are not only referring to the application change here, Sabrina. From change management perspective, I mean to say the comms or any access related thing, PCOM configuration would be pointing to the new environment. Those particular thing needs to be
But
prepared, right?
those is one off. You don't need dependency on the integration.
Not on the integration. No.
Yeah.
So in that case, we can plan multiple cab reviews as we get into the business testing, right? As and when we are ready. So that doesn't mean we need to be sequential for UAT also.
It is more of a coordination task.
Of course,
Balaji
it will be
is
more
what
work
is
from
needed.
the
Yeah.
project management as well as the test coordination perspective
Correct.
to
Yeah.
cater for this. But this will enable us to do multiple activities in parallel.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Hi, Shubin.
Hello.
Hey,
Are we,
Hello, Shubin.
are we sharing something or are we just
No, we're
me?
just talking.
That's scary.
No.
See, Sabrina is comfortable now. She's saying that
Yeah,
can
she's saying
start
that
I didn't use the word comfortable.
No, I thought after our discussion you got really comfortable, Sabrina.
that's the thing, Shibin. You did the magic.
Comfortable, okay. If you want to use the comfortable in the sense that you are okay to accept all the risks and consequences.
100%.
problem solved.
Yeah.
So
Without
I
this-
think after, like we gone through the phase 1, phase 2, and even UAT parallel 1, we gone through those discussion. I think one thing that we haven't really started or putting things in place is the engagement to the business for UAT, because I remember that we got a massive exercise in order to engage the business and convince like, again, business has no knowledge of this kind of so-called technical project. Last time it was nightmare because some business want to do regression tests for everything. Everything in the sense that they need like almost a month or even longer for their UAT, and then obviously at the end we are able to convince them to reduce the scope. But then again, to the business, they don't understand what we are doing. To them, to make sure that they are comfortable or they're confident, they want to do regression tests for everything. So that is the so-called ideal case. But obviously, we don't have that luxury to allow them to do testing for such a long time. And bear in mind that we haven't, actually discussed about the UAT support. I think, Raja, you know what I'm trying to say. The batch support for UAT during MFM, we do have someone available from test team to support, but now we don't. So you need to also consider whether that will be something from your team to support, because we don't have anyone got the knowledge to support. So that's why I think that is something that we need to really discuss in advance, because that will obviously need something to be planned out, or find a solution if we don't have any solution. Yeah, so I think that is UAT is massive planning.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I asked for that particular thing around whether we have a UAT test lead or coordinator that would be onboarded.
Yeah, look, if it is required, why not? We look into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is all with respect to the phase 1 activities. Now we see there is a considerable amount of overlap between ASM and SIS testing. We don't need to be sequential like what Sabrina mentioned. We need to identify those. If it is for the batch, what are the job streams? We need to first test it in UAT and hand it over to your team to do the testing. Likewise, we can proceed on the online also. That way, we should be able to squeeze that duration. But before we go to that, we need to get the aligned apps. Let's say if it is these 8 apps, we need to ask for 2 separate CA streams, one for ASM and one for SIS, to run in parallel to complete this activity without any interruptions for SIS activities.
So Balaji, that's where I basically recommend to have a separate environment readiness stream or environment.
Yeah, we discussed that, Shivin. So
Yeah.
we'll be creating an epic along with the Jira tasks within that.
That's correct. I think let's do that one and let's start working on it from now onwards.
Yes.
So that basically enable us to.
Yeah, likewise, Shibin, for your context, likewise, we were looking at a parallel run also to start earlier when we are comfortable with some level in the system integration testing. So we don't wait for it to be a sequential at the end of SIS. Rather, we might be able to start it a couple of weeks earlier and run 2 parallel runs to cover for the batch activities. Again, this is which all the integrations we need to be ready with that. And Rajat also mentioned that we may not have to worry about the integration system, rather the jobs perspective only we need to focus on to cover for. So there's a possibility we can bring that also while the system testing is going on. And UAT, just now we discussed to get the teams, business users aligned and get them onboarded as early as possible so that there won't be any surprises, or we should be able to align on that duration. Right now, we are looking at, in our current plan, we have like 6 weeks. Is it still holds, or is it possible to reduce it further from a UAT perspective? And again, our UAT, our key criteria is system testing to complete, system integration testing to complete. Is that a ask? Is it still valid, or can we start the UAT testing with the necessary change management approvals earlier?
So my question is, do we have any dates or anything on this one? We are talking to have that visible view, then only we can basically say that how this one is going to look like, right?
Yeah, we need to work on those dates. Key challenge right now is what those apps that we are looking for from the integration perspective, and when these integrations need to be ready. Now we are talking about, like, let's say Harmony and CPS might be available for certain duration and other apps need to participate 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, something like that. This kind of segregation Rajat need to work on and say that, okay, this is how we expect that, so that we can have overlapping streams across it.
Again, Balaji, this is our requirement. Let's plan for our requirements and then back end, then we will see that how much. Okay, we say that for us to meet this dates, we need ABCD items. So let's put in the other way around. rather than waiting for, okay, that is basically available or not, then we will plan after that. Now, based on the approach which we have, let's put our dates in, then put the assumptions that we are expecting ABCD applications should be available for that period of time. And that's where the other epics which we are talking about, which needs to work towards to make sure that those applications are going to be available for us to do the testing. Because otherwise, we will not finish this planning for next 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, let us work on the dates. Hopefully, we can put in some dates based on this discussion by end of day today or tomorrow morning. Rajat, we need this information also. I will work with Kadir and Mark and put some assumption based on today's discussion. From a phase 1 perspective, then you need to firm it up along with Sabrina on that particular part. Let's see where this stands from phase 1 activities perspective. We need to see on the phase 2 cutover duration, how realistic is the 2 weeks duration for each of those
That's
environments.
where I'm really concerned, Sabrina. What I have seen is 2 weeks period for system testing and 2 weeks period for UAT. In my perspective, that is very less.
I don't think 2 weeks we are able to do, the testing for the whole lot. Because considering just
No,
allow.
that's what I'm basically telling. So I'm agreeing with you. That's what I'm basically said. That's what you may need to look into it. And
Yeah,
see
we need to
that what you
negotiate
think.
for a longer period, yes.
That's right. So the 2 weeks is very less. And especially when we are actually doing the real cutover is basically happening over there. And that's where we are going to get the full integration points for all the applications and all. So this needs to be really needs to scrutinize that bit, because that's where the real UAT testing, real system testing and all those things coming into the picture. We need to be pragmatic. And yeah, I know we are optimistic, but I think this is a bit too much optimistic.
Yeah, agree.
So with that, Shiban and Sabrina, if we are looking for a longer duration for the phase 2 post-cutover testing activities, how does that boil down to the phase 1 testing? Are we still doing double efforts there to some extent, or are we optimizing phase 1 so that we don't do the same kind of activities in phase 2 cutover? And what is the confidence level to skip those items during the cutover?
No, you can't skip.
Sorry,
I would
before
say.
that one, Kadir, is it possible to share your MPP? Because it's very difficult to visualize how these things are basically going to look like. Something is there for us to just to show how this one is. What are we basically talking about? At least, otherwise, draw in a whiteboard or no, I'm talking about paint or somewhere.
Let me get the Jira roadmap and see if we can squeeze these activities. Let me share that.
Shivan, you don't seriously mean the MPP, do you?
Whatever, which basically shows something.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say we get here. Okay, so now this is for the sys testing right now. This is UAT, this is the sys testing. We are looking at some overlapping of this activity. I need to adjust this.
Because this one is 2 months, right? We are talking about 6 months of system testing. That is needs to be get aligned with the new strategy. So
No,
what
no,
does
it's
that?
not 6 months, it's 8 weeks of testing, but then the preparation activities and all comes in. Okay, sometime in August it might start. If we look at the testing, that's where we need to see how soon we can get to the testing part. This is DB2. System integration testing starts sometime in August, September, 3 months duration. So that's a long duration.
That's right.
And how soon we can bring this in? Let's say if our system app, not this one again. ASM testing activities are starting sometime here. Is this the ASM testing? I don't know, the dates might be wrong. So we are assuming to start the ASM unit testing by end of April, and then it goes till May, June, 2 months, 2.5 months. Can this also come in somewhere? If it is overlapping sometime in June instead of August, can we start early June so that we complete this activity as early as starting of September, 2 months earlier than before? What that means. Okay, and if that is the case, this date we are looking at sometime early September.
Early September. Yeah.
Okay, and prod, we are looking at parallel run from November till Jan. Can this be somewhere
So
mid
what
of
are you doing? What is the dependency between prod parallel run and the testing? So what are you doing in the prod parallel run?
Yeah, that's where we were discussing what level of jobs we want to, because some of them, they are going with the risk-based approach not to test in SIT and carry it out as part of the parallel run. And likewise,
So
certain
your
jobs-
parallel run, your environments are connecting to CI. Where are you connecting to your parallel run environments? Integration environments.
yeah, this we need to discuss whether is it going to be ASMB or something to support during that time for
Okay.
our activities.
Because those things are going to be critical as well. So
Yes.
that's again a prerequisite activity in your prerequisite
That's correct.
epic.
Yeah, but for the parallel run, Shivan, we only need CPS harmony.
Yeah, but still you need to connect to an environment, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. Most potentially, it would be either the ASM BAU which we have reserved or the CI environment.
So only CPS centers are, sorry, harmony is required.
Yeah. And maybe if we would need online payment just for some correctiveness, but I don't think that would also be needed.
So,
Yeah, but again, my question is, there is no dependency to you to do your parallel run and the system testing cutover. Is that right statement, or you're waiting for the system test complete to do the parallel run?
No, so that's what we were discussing, Shivan, that we need some level of confidence that the SID things are working before we start the parallel run.
Yeah. Only my question, my other concern is careful about the parallel run built early as well because of all the database license cost, micro focus license cost.
Yeah. That's right. Yes. Yeah. We need to sequence all that particular bit. Yeah, you're right.
Because there's a huge amount, costing is basically coming in the picture.
Yeah.
So our expectation, whenever parallel runs kicks in, it need to be closer to the cutover activities within 2 months. Doesn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how we plan for. So with this.
No, that's what I said. It should not be have a high dependency on the other items. We need to be closer to the cutover activity, actual cutover, where we should be doing those activities.
Yeah, that's correct. So this is something we are looking at right now, somewhere here, 20th of October, for a prod parallel run to complete, and the system testing to complete UAT activities. We need to see how soon we can user acceptance testing. Here it looks like it's
No, but again, I question here one thing. How much UAT we can do in an actual world as a phase one activity? Because you're not connecting to the actual environment.
No, I honestly, I don't recommend that, Shubin.
That's
For
what I'm
UAT,
basically. Yeah, that's what I'm
UAT.
asking.
Yeah,
UAT, it should be the actual because
exactly.
when you're going to the end users to do the UAT, they didn't see those things. We can potentially, you may able to do a level of regression in the UAT to ensure that everything is fine, but UAT with an actual end user,
Yeah.
it become a nightmare if you're going for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we touched based on that a while ago, Shafin, before you joined.
So that in that case, we need to see what is the realistic approach for UAT. We can provision everything, some level of testing by our testers
Yeah,
before we hand it over to business, but that means we need to have the cutover done.
that's right.
Okay, we
Yes.
can't do any UAT users testing without the cutover. And
Yeah.
in that case, we need to be clear of what is the duration we are looking for. Is it a 1 month from UAT to testing to happen, or 1.5 month, 2 months? What is the realistic ask for a UAT testing? Do we have any view on that? So with your assumption, phase 2 testing, phase 1 UAT testing, it may be something more of a
Technical shakedown.
Yeah.
testing. Okay. And then we expect this to complete. We don't need that. Let's say your system testing is ending in September, maybe sometime mid of August, we can do the technical testing and have it ready by early October. We also provision everything ready before that. I'm just adjusting the dates. We need to work on properly putting it in back. At least for our context, what we are talking, we look into this. Shibin, will I get the Jira Master certificate or something?
Yeah, Alliance Jira Master Certificate.
Thank you so much. Okay, so
You'll have a role change opportunity as well, Balaji.
role change.
Yeah. You can join the Agile transformation team.
That's great. Will I be paid more? Yes, I can join. Okay, so this one we are looking at to complete UAT testing sometime. Okay, so UAT and prod readiness, everything. So we need to see. Right now it stays at mid of October for all these activities. Now the phase 2
So the
comes.
system testing is supposed to complete by when?
At this moment, it stands at early September instead of end of October, 2 months earlier. Okay, and the parallel run by mid of October and the UAT by the tech testers by mid of October. So cutover activities, we can start the dev cutover as and when our system testing is completed, followed by ASM. Now we need to see how long is the sys testing in the cutover, post cutover with the managed environments. So is it 2 weeks or a month you need?
I think it will be 4 to 6 weeks because bear in mind that there are certain applications that are not actually available in CI or even assembly. So it will start only from sys. So there's
Okay.
no other option that we can only do testing from there the first time. So yeah, so
So there are two
definitely I would
things-
say 4 to 6 weeks, that's a bare minimum.
So I think there are two things, Sabrina, there. I think when we are moving to system test, we will be concentrating more into that. And
Yeah.
did you finalize the strategy of sampling? Are you planning to do the whole run again, or you're basically do a sampling exercise for the ones which are already completed as part of the our phase 1 testing?
Yeah, if it is automated, I would like to run them all because it won't take a lot of time if it is all automated. If it is manual, then we need to select.
So I think we need to try to squeeze this one into a month, 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like minimum 4, but then it could go up to 6. It depends on how many systems are not available in assembly, or CI, because that will obviously, if they are not available, a lot of them are manual, I would say. So manual testing will obviously take more time.
Yeah. No, well, let's put 4 weeks for that.
Yeah, so right now I put 4 weeks for system testing. Then we have the UAT 6 weeks I put it in. Because we don't.
I don't think again 6 weeks is basically required. UAT cutover, we managed to phase that one out. And so now you're basically taking November and December off, isn't it?
Yes, so your go live should be somewhere 3rd week of December.
That's just prior to Christmas. Shivan, how about
Is there any change freezes during that time?
you broke
So
off?
I could-
You're breaking apart. Shivan, are there freeze periods for the Christmas timeframe?
Christmas timeframe, there is freeze period.
So basically it should be the last 2 weeks of December and first 2 weeks of Jan, right?
That's right. But again, we are making a major change over there. It may be good for us as well. I think we need to sell it like that because things are basically moving across to cloud, less traffic. Similar scenario, Rajat, we were.
Yeah, but Shiben, the only thing would be that when the traffic comes, we should not have problems, right?
But again, we should able to fix some problems with less traffic items.
I think most of the problem we found were because of traffic, but yeah, to be honest, it's a good opportunity to do all the sort of the minor issues around connectivity, etc., to be sorted out when you have less traffic.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. It may be a good thing to push for it to in December. And only thing is the resource availability, which we need to work it out how the team is basically going to be we managed to do an early this thing, which has helped us to figure out all other issues potentially come out and got resolved. And then by the time January come, only issue potentially we'll be waiting for is the traffic issue.
Yeah, I think if we are planning December, we should give the heads up as soon as possible so that people can plan their holiday, etc. accordingly.
Yeah, I think Kadir, we managed to, start thinking about that one and to start how we can able to sell this off.
Yeah. So in that case, we start saying that Polosa is going live in December instead of February or March, and put the pressure to everybody.
The date has to be the 14th of December. It can't be any later.
No, this is again another question is UAT, I put in 6 weeks. How realistic is this?
No, 6 weeks is more than enough, for sure. I don't think we can go for
Can
more.
we
Keep some buffer. Better to have that buffer, Balaji.
Okay, got it, good. So there's a possibility it can be just 4 weeks.
Yes.
No,
Okay.
look, let's put system test and UAT together 10 weeks.
Yeah,
So,
4 weeks plus 6, yeah.
Yeah, so which basically give us the flexibility to move here and there a little bit. We can work on that bit.
Okay. And then we complete all the change management activities, but then we go live by 3rd week of December. But again, this is something we put in right now. Is there a
No,
possibility?
don't put third week. We need to put, I agree with Kadir there. We need to be doing it before the second half of December.
We can't do it first week because of the month end activities, right?
No,
So
that's what I said. Second week, we should be targeting around 14th.
Shibin, the only call out that you might need to be prepared for with that particular thing, if we are going in December, which means we are saying no changes in probably November and December, which is going to be pushed back because I know with the year end things coming, there are a lot of
Rajat,
changes.
fully agree. What we
Yep.
basically telling is we putting our proposal on the card.
Yeah.
Telling that we are targeting on December.
Yes.
For us to achieve December, the last changes is recommended is October, and we need a complete freeze for November and December and potentially Jan.
Yes.
So that's what we basically putting our cards on the table.
Yeah.
If that is not acceptable from the business, things may change around. We cannot do left shift now. It may move to right, but that's a different call altogether.
Yeah. Well, what I am saying that's something we are putting on the table for the overall organization. But within ECM, I'm just trying to say that we should let management know those would be our known challenges from the release committee, etc.
So do you know any major releases are planned for Policy during this time?
Not for Policy, but what I know as we kick into June and July, there would be changes coming in which would be pushed for October and November. Every year, October and November are the key periods for us.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to bring onto the table.
And any year-end dependency type of changes, any price changes?
Those are data changes only that we can handle. Anything within Policy, that's not a problem. Shouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, that I can vouch for.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine.
okay, so now
Because last time when we did it in November, right?
Yes.
And we basically took October, November, and December 3 months freeze.
Yep.
That's what we did last time.
Yep.
So now we are basically telling you are allowed to do October, but November, December is us.
Yep.
okay. So no, in that case, is it possible to keep it as the last release of the year by end of November? Is there a possibility?
That's what we are no. So Balaji, what we are saying, last application related changes can go in October release. After that, you can't do any changes. Whatever you need to do would be in Feb release.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Rajat, can you guys hear me? Or am I cutting out still?
Bad line,
Okay.
I would say.
I have to drop off.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Shibin. So we will try to work on this, saying that this is what we are going to proceed for, and we get the alignment from the integrations as well as the front-end apps to go towards this approach. And we also need to get the business also agree on this approach and work with us to deliver it by end of this year.
Fantastic, great. I'm happy. That's good.
Okay. So Shibin, I'm assuming you need a new dashboard
Yeah.
with the new dates.
Yeah.
Do you also need the PowerPoint deck by this afternoon with the new dates?
You can do it together. You can do it together.
Update the dashboard first. I think let's share that one with Jackie as a dates perspective, and then we can basically update the other one as a next step by tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think before you do that, can we call out the dependency, Kadir? I think that's the important bit that we all should agree upon.
Yeah. So look, I had to jump. I'm late.
Yeah, no problem, Shibin. No problem, Shibin.
Okay, so Rajat, what are the key callouts?
Mark, you still echoing.
Yeah, sorry guys. I'm actually just I've joined using my Allianz account and VPN and remote access. I'm just testing things out.
It's getting better.
You guys go ahead.
Yeah.
We're getting an echo. It's echoing.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah, should be fine now. Mark is on mute now.
Yeah.
Rajat, if you can list down those callouts, key callouts based on this assumption. Ask for integration
The
teams.
main, I think Sabrina, the main call out is having the integration environment readiness, the two streams of CI tests that we need.
Yeah.
And then the data migration strategy to be ready by before you start your
Yep.
system testing environment. Balaji, I would say let's have those sort of things as well.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
We have that ready.
Yeah, because I think we are undermining it, and with the way things are going on, I'm really getting nervous there as well.
Yeah, so if we are talking about system readiness, we need to have this. Let's see how realistic is this, or are we over optimistic and missing something here?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are expecting.
No, then the fallback plan will become our actual plan, Balaji. Don't worry.
Hmm?
I'm saying then the fallback plan would become our original plan, which is Feb
Yeah,
2027.
if December we can't make it, the next day is only February.
February, yeah.
Yeah, because we can't do anything on Jan.
Yeah.
So the next day is February, so we can keep it as a fallback, but we work accordingly on these dates. When is the right time to start the system testing while the ASM testing is going on? Okay. Right now, it seems like system testing, we are looking at almost 90 days. That's quite a duration, 3 months of activities, but we are assuming it's going to be parallel. Do we really require that 90 days, or is it something that will come to maybe 2 months duration parallelly? We need to work on that.
For the pre-cutover, okay. So for the pre-cutover, we're talking about CI, right? CI, and per my understanding, if it is available, because we request for 2 CI instance, right? One for UIT and one for SIT. So if it works for UIT, it should work for SIT because it's the same CI, setup. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the key is get the UIT successful, and then we can reduce the duration for SIT for pre-cutover. In post-cutover phase 2, it's not the same because of the limitation of the availability of each integrated application. So that's why in phase 2, we don't have that option to cut down the SIT, giving the dependency on the successful testing of UIT. So we don't have that option. But in pre-cutover, I'm quite confident that if our setup is what we suggested, so CI test whatever number to UIT and then CI test another number to SIT, then they set up the 2 CI tests in the same way, or configuration or data, whatever is needed, they set it up exactly the same way, then I believe we can, have a shorter duration for SIT if UIT actually is successful. Just my assumption based on what we propose.
Okay, got it. So let's say I keep it to 2 months for UIT to properly do the testing. Okay.
And obviously, if we said this is the assumption, then we shouldn't have a lot of too much overlap of the UIT and SIT, because you need to allow them to resolve the problem before it get into SIT. So the SIT can be executed in a shorter time.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So it's one way or the other. Like you can't have both cut short, right?
yep. And then print server is there on the side.
Balaji, don't give more. It's better to have some room in there. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you put in, you need to put the condition. What is the
Yeah,
condition
that's what
of?
I'm saying around the dependency. We are being optimistic here. We know there are cost and other issues, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we are covering the right ourselves with the right callouts.
Yeah.
Yep, understood.
That's why when Shubin is here saying that I'm confident if all the risks, all the consequences are accepted.
Yeah. Yeah, when we create the epic with a list of tickets, I will make sure that the dependencies and criteria are called out. Can you guys hear me better now? I restarted my Teams.
No. Still very robotic.
Sorry to interrupt. I think other than the dependency, I think we should also, like, I'm not sure whether we already have the risks that are related to what we discussed. Possibly not, because those risks were created long back and based on, the standard or the one that we are aware. So whatever we discuss now is something quite new or specific to ECM. So I think we do need to actually create, the risk in order to highlight what we discussed, because we talked about a lot of things, right?
Yes.
So what risk that we need to accept to put up a shorter period of SIT, and also have the strategy of overlap UIT and SIT, possibly UAT as well. So all these things that we discussed, actually there's a risk associated with what we propose. So we haven't actually got this information anywhere yet. So I think it would be good to have the risk ticket created to document all these things that we propose, and also obviously have a dependency on the other ticket as well.
Got it. So we need to update those risks. Yeah. But again, this is where we need to be clear on all those risks listed down clearly. Right now, it's all here and there. Okay. We don't
Leave it to me. For the risk that we raised long back, some of them might still be valid for specific for the SIT phase. Some of them might actually link to what we discussed. Possibly, I need to review them again. And if I'm able to find something which is related to what we discussed today, or related to the strategy, environment strategy, or the overlap strategy, then I'll update the risk and provide more details on on what we mentioned, instead of like now got only one statement, which obviously not clear enough. So I will make some updates in order to make it clear if they are applicable for what we discussed today. But if those are again still only be related to the execution in the future, like for example the defects, things like that, those obviously won't be related to today's discussion, so that will stay. Yeah, give me some time, like possibly midweek. I should be able to update them accordingly. Yeah.
Okay. So right now, if you look at the system integration test activities, it's 2 months, similar to ASM, but it's overlapping.
Yeah.
Okay. So this starts sometime in June. This one starts in July. So it overlaps. So basically, the combined one, 3 months ASM and system testing, provided we have the separate environments.
So we should have a entry criteria checkpoint. So whether like what we discussed, okay, whether the depending components or backstream are successful in UIT, then we can proceed with the SIT. So I think we need to have the entry criteria checkpoint. Yeah.
Okay, and we start our phase 2 activities as and when we get the system testing is completed. We start with the dev, then ASM, then we keep 1 month for sys testing from October, and then 1.5 month for UAT. Okay, so
I think we just mentioned earlier in this meeting saying that most likely we are able to get assembly early. So that means phase 2 assembly will be started sooner, a lot sooner.
No, the problem is we can't do the cutover because of the ongoing activities, right? So now let's say if
What
we are
do you
looking
call
at,
that? If it is not cut over, because you are using the assembly environment integrated application to policy assembly, right? Then what do you call that phase if it is not?
ASM BAU for the integrated apps?
Yeah.
The challenge is like, let's say I do a ASM cutover earlier. What is the, Rajat, do you know what is the duration for a normal major release or a monthly release starting from ASM?
Sorry, Balaji, I didn't understand the question.
I do the ASM cutover sometime in mid of September. Okay, so which release it would affect?
That would be October release. We have the calendar. I think I provided you how the schedule works.
Yeah, every month is different. It depends on which month that you go live.
So that basically means if I bring in ASM cutover to September, they won't have any other environments to do the testing for the October release, right? Unless they test this in cloud.
No,
But
so
our
Balaji, if
cutover,
you know, we are doing the cutover twice, right? One for the BAU stream and then for the PRJ stream.
Yeah, there are two streams in assembly.
okay, so we are let's say we do the PR1 in October, even though for us it's all the regions we move it, but whatever is enabled for them to test this, it will be on-prem BAU or on-prem PR1 till that time.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's assume that we bring in PR1 and BAU is still there. It will support for which release? If November, do we have any? We are asking for a freeze from November onwards. So October is the last release. We do the cutover with the ASM. In that case, we should be able to bring it forward maybe early September.
Yeah, then our cutover has to be done early.
So okay, so I think we are talking about two things. So one, we said we reserve assembly BAU for our testing early, but then that is not necessarily the go live stream. It could be BAU, it could be P1, we don't know, but then we are reserving it early. So you don't consider that as phase 2?
No, that's not phase 2.
Okay, but then it's not phase 1 as well because you're not using CI. So what do you call that?
No, again, this is where it is, right? In which period you are going to bring in assembly BAU?
I thought they said early, right? Like Rajat, I think someone said it quite soon.
But then the challenge is, if you bring in assembly BAU of the front-end apps, you won't have the entire duration. You might take a week or two every month to support
No, that is not, no, I think what we propose or what I heard, they are going to reserve that for us, then like, that will be used continuously, not like, we don't need to give back.
Yeah.
So that means no other activities will happen, and assembly
No. So no other activity except ECM. Any other ECM squad using that application, that's still open. It's not reserved for ECM policy. It's reserved for overall
Is there
ECM
migration for
program.
other apps as well,
So in
right?
that case, we don't need a two CA environment, right? One CA for your assembly environment point 2, and another ASM BAU for your system testing and some level of UAT testing, whatever you want to do. Is that how it will work?
I will say no.
I have a concern, right? Because if it is not dedicated for policy, if it is
That's the
ECM,
reason, Balaji, for our testing, I'm not utilizing it as such.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still relying on the two
That's correct,
TST, but wherever what that particular thing would give us is, if the integrated apps that we are not going to have it in CI test,
Correct.
we can still use ASM BAU. That would be
Correct.
the fallback plan for
Yeah.
us.
That will be the main, purpose for this ASM BAU, because,
stream.
because not all applications are available in CI, like for example, BPM, even ACMS, they are only available in manage. So that's why we can only do it in assembly BAU. So that will give us the opportunity of doing the UIT early without the, waiting for the cutover. I mean, cutover in the sense that, as you said, that will be the proper environment for go live, but because assembly BAU at the moment reserved for ECM testing, then whether it will be the go live environment, we don't know, but it doesn't really matter, because it will, like when we mention about go live environment, it will be more concerned on SIS and UAT, because we need to sign off for that particular release to go live in SIS and UAT. But in assembly, we never need any sign off for that particular stream. So that's why, like, very unlikely we will have, there will have a major impact or dependency for the monthly release.
That's the point I was saying. ASM, BAU, and PR1 are being very less effective or in use.
But we still leave one
the
environment for the other project, right? We only reserve one.
Retrofit, and to go through the change promotion cycle, we keep them active, those instances alive, so that they are not like unhealthy environment. They are always healthy. But in terms of their usage by the dev team, that's quite low. Reliance on those particular application or usage of those particular environment for an application is quite low. But they are very good environment, since our gatekeeper application keeps them healthy.
Yeah, and also the other benefit of using assembly BAU, the retrofit is always done to all managed environment. So because as Rajat mentioned, that the promotion of the code is starting from assembly all the way up, and then it got retrofit for the other stream after during the code freeze. That's why it is very, like, you have less worry about whether you got the up-to-date changes for the integrated apps. In CI, we need to manage it ourselves, because they don't normally do the retrofit, or they don't need to deploy the changes starting from CI. So that's why some changes might be missed in our CI environment. That's why we need more there will be more overhead for managing the CI environment from our perspective.
Understood. So, but again, this is where we need to be mindful when they say that ASM BAU is for the entire ECM, not just for Polosci. We still
Yeah.
have some limitation aligning with them.
Correct. That's the reason what I said, we need separate streams still for UIT and SIT within CI, Balaji.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this, okay. Got it. So then we can see how we should be able to bring forward a couple of activities. Right now, this is how we are standing with the current progress. We are expecting something to roll out by end of December for Polosci.
Yeah, I got a meeting, sorry, I need to drop off.
I'll also be
I just-
dropping off. Yeah, you need me?
Yes, you are required for the Apache discussion.
Okay, we have that starting now, is it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks all.
Thanks all.
Hey, good day.
Mark, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Are you in this other meeting with them, or are you free right now?
There's two meetings that I need to be in, and I'm trying to decide which one I should jump into.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I just
Why am I
want to
seeing two
my,
videos of you?
to my access.
Do you know that I'm
This
actually?
is odd. I don't know.
I can see two videos of you. Have you got two cameras or?
Yeah. Maybe that's why there's a bit of an. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know why.
Can you see? Do you know that you've actually got two videos?
So you got to. I can see myself. I can see. Yeah, there is two videos. I don't know why.
And the voice quality is really bad.
Because I'm accessing how many ones?
Voice quality is really
Yeah.
bad. Just retest your voice quality
This.
with Microsoft Teams test facility.
Yeah.